Today, what we're going to talk about is how to add opening text and closing credits to our music video. Now, there's always a lot of options for different formats that you use. I'm going to show you a very basic and simple format. And if you are excited about working with text, you can play around with it more. Music videos have many different ways that they open. Often it's a very standard look where you would see text, the name of the artist and the name of the song just here on the bottom left corner. And it doesn't move or do anything fancy, and it's a very easy to read font so that it doesn't distract from your music video. So what we're going to do is go up on the very top here and click on where it says text right here. And you'll see there's different categories or different folders of types of text that you can use. It has a lot of ones that it is built in. And like I said, we're keeping it simple. So it's important to choose the category you want. And we're going to go to this folder called static. Static effects mean that the text doesn't move around or do anything fancy. It just sits there. So we're going to go to the static folder. And we're going to choose this first one, which is called basic text. We're going to edit it quite a bit, but just so that we can start getting it into our movie to work with, we're going to click it and just drag it down on the track above our video clips. And the way that all video editors work is that whatever video clip is on the top track covers the clips under it, so you can see the text covers the clips underneath it. So you just want to drag it and drop it on a track above your clips. Now, before I do anything, I'm actually going to just shorten this clip. By default, Wevideo seems to put in about an 8-second clip, and that would be a very long time to look at sample text or simple text. So I'm going to shrink it down to 3 seconds maybe. And the way I would do that is I just grab the end of the clip here. You would see you get double arrows, and you click and you drag it. And as I drag it, it's showing you in time code how long it is. So this would be 4 seconds and 13 frames. To get to 3 seconds, I'm actually going to go a little bit under maybe. That would be 2 seconds and 15 frames, which is actually about 2.5 seconds. I'm going to let go. You can always adjust it later if it feels too fast. And then I'm going to work with the text. But let's see if that time looks right. I'm going to put it at the beginning, and it'll be, yeah, that's about how long it is. And I'm actually going to just mute my track by dragging my audio down so you don't have to listen to it. So now I'm going to double click the clip from my timeline. That's going to open up the text editor. And I'm going to start by writing the name of the band. Oops, in lowercase, there we go. And I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to put the song name. That's going to be in quotation marks, and I'm actually going to do this in all caps. And the reason I'm going to do that is that usually when you look at credits, a lot of times visually you want to make a distinction between the band and the song, so they look really different. You'll also see that in the closing credits, which we'll talk about, where you want the role of somebody and then their name to be different. So one way to do that is by using caps. And again, remember to use quotation marks around the name of the song. And obviously, we still have some work to do here. We're just going to leave it in the default font, which is Roboto. You want a very simple, clean line font that's very easy to read. So that serves that purpose. So we'll skip the type of font, and then we're going to go down to this line where we can choose some of the formatting. I'm going to leave all of that be, and I'm going to go to the far right, and this has to do with the alignment. Right now, the alignment of this is centered, which means that the text does not line up. But I told you I want to ultimately put the text down here on the left. So actually what we want to do is align it left so it'll have a nice clean line. So I'm going to click there and choose the left align. And now the text is aligned on the left. And now I'm going to shrink the text down. I'm going to the next line, which is size, and I'm just going to make it smaller. It should be readable, but not huge. That looks fine. And then I'm gonna go over to this window and just click inside this blue text box, and I'm gonna drag it down to the bottom corner. And you wanna leave it so there's some margin around the sides, meaning there should be some space over here and some space here. Just like you wouldn't type up a paper for a class and print out the text right on the edge of the paper. Same thing with text when you put it into a video. I'm happy with that. Make it a little bit smaller. But that looks pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is make sure to hit save. And there is my text. Voila. So that is what we're going to do for the opening. Now, you'll see I did not put my name anywhere here. In films, the front end, the opening title, does not have the name of the person who made it. So a common mistake is sometimes to say who the video is by. Really, as a standard rule, you put that at the end in your closing credits where you cite who worked on the film. Now, again, I'm going to keep this really simple for this project. And all we're going to say is created by and our name. So in another video or at another time, we could talk about how to make scrolling text, but for purposes of this, we're just going to go up here to basic text again and drag it in. Now I'm going to leave a space because we don't want the video to end and then jump straight into text. I'll show you, it looks a little weird if you do that, to have it go boom. What you normally want to do is have a little bit of a pause, like the movie's over, and then you begin your credits. So I'm going to leave a little bit of a hole here, and also I'm going to end up fading this out so we know video is over, and then I'm going to fade this in. Before I do that, I'm going to format my text. I'm just going to double click it again, and I'm going to say in lowercase, all lowercase, created. Oops, sorry, it does this funny, hold on a second, thing. I'm going to say created by, and then I'm going to do my name in all caps. Now, created by is still too big. Even though we made my name in all caps, I feel like created by is really big. So what I'm going to actually go back and do is just in this text box, highlight where it says created by, and I'm going to go and make the size smaller. So I'm going to go down. All of this is actually fine. All I need to do is highlight the created by, and I'm going to shrink that down. And what you'll see is only created by is getting smaller in terms of the font. And it looks better, right? It looks, instead of it being equal, it's a little bit smaller. And that makes it look good. I'm also going to go down to line height, just underneath size, and put a little bit more space between where it says created by and my name. And I'll hit save. I'm happy with that. Now, similarly, boom, it ends, boom, it starts. Does not look great. So what I want to do, I'm going to actually make a little bit more space, I think, and then I'm going to just fade it up. So to fade it up, I go back up here. I'm going to go to transitions. And I actually am just going to take this crossfade, and I'm going to drag it and drop it right on the beginning of my credits. And I'm going to shrink my credits down at the end because, again, 8 seconds is a really long time to look at. I'm going to make it about 3 seconds, and then I'm going to drag the crossfade down at the end, and let me look at that. That seems like a good length. In theory, you should be able to say whatever your text is out loud maybe twice before it fades out. That's kind of one way to gauge how long something should be on the screen. So here's my video. It ends. That fades in. And it fades out. Maybe I'll fade my video out too, so I'm just going to drag that crossfade and plop it on the end as well. And I'll put the audio up just so we have a sense of it. I'm happy with that. So that's how you do your opening credits and your opening title and your closing credits. Now, the final thing I'm going to do is I have an audio that just goes on and on. If you created enough text to cover your music, then it was just designed by expert sound people and it fades out and ends really nicely. But if you ever have audio that, like in this case, is too long, then I want to clip it and I want to fade my audio out as well. So what I'm going to do is you could either just click and drag the end of your audio clip if you want, or alternately, you can put your playhead where you want to cut it. And I'm going to put it after the end of the credits so that it kind of fades out, like the credits will fade out and then the audio will finish just a smidge after that. So I'm going to put it here and you'll see there's a little pair of scissors on our playhead. If I click the scissors, it just moved this into two distinct clips. And I can just click it and hit the garbage can and delete it. Now that didn't fade it out. That just made it end. But you can hear that's a very, very abrupt ending. So we need to fade it out or it sounds like you stopped in the middle of a sentence when you're talking. I'll play that again. It just feels abrupt. So to fade it out, here's the audio. This blue line is showing us how loud our audio is. And currently it's at 100%. It's at full audio. But we can fade it out because we can click on this line. So first I'm going to figure out where I want it to start fading out. And I think I'll have it start fading out sort of towards the beginning of my 3-second credits. Give it about a 2-second fade out. When I click on it, it's going to make a little tiny dot. And that dot is called a keyframe. And that means that's where my fade out is going to start. And automatically it put another little dot at the end. And you'll see it says 100% volume. But if I pull that second dot, when I hover on it, it gets a little black circle around it. That means I'm on it. And I can click and drag down. And you'll see it goes to 0% volume. And it'll fade out this time. So and it sounds much better. It sounds like you've finished the thought. So what you want to do is make sure that happens if you did not use your entire music so you don't have an abrupt end to your song. And that is how you do your opening title, your closing credits, and your fade out for your music.